Hello and welcome to the morning after show. My name is Joshua Reimer. I am joined by none other than Jared Block, who's over on my right. Jared, how are you doing today?
We are doing great outside of having a bad night last night.
Yeah,
Um,
no joke, a bad night.
yeah, bad night on many levels, but we're here on Thursday. Everything's fine. Buck season isn't over yet. Yes.
You know what? I feel like
Yeah.
you kind of deserved it because I saw this score and you were like, you said on the show yesterday, you were like, "This my take staring me right in my face," and the Bulls take, and I don't know. I just think it was
Uh,
interesting.
I don't know if I deserve a Chris Middleton sprained MCL.
Well, yeah, that's
I don't
true.
think I
You,
deserve that.
you definitely don't deserve that. But I don't know. It was a very interesting game. It was a very interesting night of the playoffs. Definitely better than the night before. And I'm excited to talk about it with you. You want to talk about anything else before we get into these three games that happened last night?
No, let's get going with the NBA stuff. Good games all the way around. Like all three of them actually were a really good start to finish.
Yep, without a doubt. Let's start with this first game, which is the Nets versus the Celtics. Celtics win 114 to 107, and that's very interesting that they won at that score because this Nets team kind of had them put away for a very long time, and then you saw the Celtics kind of storm back. Really good third quarter for them, but a really good fourth quarter where they outscored the Nets by 12 points, 29 to 17. I guess the most surprising thing is that I mean, Bruce Brown, like what, like game one, I talked about him being the X factor here in the last game, right? Because he didn't do that well in the last game. He ends up scoring 23 points, but you see Kyrie Irving just completely disappear off of the face of the earth. Like he did not look good. Only 10 points in this game. That's disappointing to say the least. What were your thoughts on the Kyrie Irving game? What's your thoughts on the Nets side of this one?
Yep, super disappointing. And the blueprint stays the same every single time. Durant and Irving play 40 minutes. If one of them doesn't show up, they lose the game. And that's as
Yep.
simple as that. So, Kevin Durant had 22 real life points at the end of the third quarter. I know this because I saw this and I made sure to make a mental note to see how many points he'd go off with in the fourth. Only scored 5 points, and that's the reason that they lost.
And let's not forget, he shot 18 for 20 from the free throw line. Like, this guy had 27 points in the game and shot 18 for 20. So, didn't even score 9 or 10 points outside of the free throw line, which is absolutely insane. Lots of free throws for him specifically. I don't know. This Kyrie game, do you think the drama's kind of get into his head a little bit of all the stuff in Boston?
Uh, Probably not. I think that's like I don't know. Maybe he got a little bit like Steve Nash said that he didn't care what happened with Kyrie and the fans. If there was $50,000 fine to him, it I don't think so. Um, we'll see what happens when they goes to Brooklyn because I think those same Boston fans could come there too.
Yeah, they certainly could. I don't know if you knew this, but Kyrie Irving had to break Ramadan at some point in this game. He went to the locker room. Everyone thought it
Oh,
was an injury. Uh,
maybe that's a little bit why.
it actually wasn't an injury. It was because he had to break Ramadan. He had to break his fast. So
Mm.
super interesting thing that I was hearing about yesterday. And you know, I saw Underdog tweet it, and I was like, "Is that the real Underdog, or is this someone playing around?" And I clicked on it. It's the real Underdog. So I don't know, kind of shocking. Anyway, on the other side, you have this Celtics team that no one really stood out in my opinion. I think Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum obviously looked like they look good like they usually do, but scoring wise, you have seven guys over 10 points, which is, a balanced approach that kind of helped them win this game.
Yeah, not too much to say from the Celtics outside of a really nice second half. Not folding under the pressure because they, like you said, I mean, the Nets did look like they had a firm grasp on the game, and then everything totally flipped midway through the third. So Horford continues to play big minutes for this team without Robert Williams. Daniel Tice looked a lot better in game two than he did in game one. And yeah, I mean, not too much going on from, I mean, Brown and Tatum just doing what they need to do. I don't think anybody necessarily stood out on this team. The Celtics were falling apart drastically in the start of the second half. I believe there's a play where Marcus Smart and Daniel Tice both ran into each other instead of Tice was trying to set a pick or something or a handoff, and then Jalen Brown bounced the ball off his foot that went out of bounds, like bad passes everywhere. So they got things together and they were able to make a difference here in the second half. Derek White only getting 13 minutes is kind of weird. They put in Peyton Pritchard for the extra spark of defense in the second half, and it seemed to have worked out for them.
Yeah, it certainly seemed to work out for them. Let's move on to this next game. Let's talk about the 76ers as they faced off against the Toronto Raptors. There was a point in this game where the Raptors were up 38-19. I specifically remember because I was talking to my father-in-law and I was saying, "Holy crap, they're up 38-19. That's insane." But slowly the 76ers team chipped away at that lead, mostly doing it in the third, and then everything was close in the fourth. Then they sent it to OT with a Tobias Harris missed shot under the basket. And then you saw, 76ers come away with this one with a buzzer beater. Um, Absolutely insane game. And what a way to finally just drain all the life out of this poor Raptors team. Like if they had any chance any hope at a chance to potentially make this game competitive, I feel like losing an OT at home on a buzzer beater kind of takes it all away.
Yeah, pretty much it was the nail in the coffin for the Raptors. Joel Embiid finally gets his revenge on a buzzer beater of his own. And yeah, that's pretty much the story there. Think that the lack of depth from the Raptors is certainly hurting them in this series. You had what it took, it just needed a little bit more. And I think that Scotty Barnes could have been that little bit more. So it's unfortunate that he was able to not partake in this one. Uh, the Raptors are, even with all the overtime minutes, they're still basically playing six guys, and that's
No.
just not enough at the end of the day.
Nope, not enough. Not enough indeed. All right, let's move on to the last game of the slate. Bulls facing off against the Bucks here. Bulls end up coming away with it, 114-110. This Bulls team looked really good, but specifically, DeMar DeRozan looked elite. We kind of talked about it before we ended up leaving yesterday, just talking about how like DeMar was bound for a good game, and this was kind of that good game that he needed to elevate this Bulls team to a win.
I believe that one of the last things I said to you yesterday before we left for work was, There's no way I can fade Demar tonight."
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty much what happened. He was unconscious from every single part of like wherever he shot from. He was like just on points, and that's the DeMar DeRozan that I remember from Toronto, just being elite from the mid range, and like he wasn't going to shoot 5 for 26 again. So that was that
Yeah.
was basically what he came out and set out to do. And 44 minutes is definitely impressive. Zach Levine also getting 43. Caruso putting up big minutes for this team and huge plays down the stretch. His presence definitely was missed in the regular season a lot, and now you're actually starting to see that come through in the playoffs. Uh, I just the only like I don't have much to add from the Bucks side outside of really sloppy play down the stretch, and I know that they're trying to probably overcompensate and do a lot without Chris on the floor. There's obviously without him there, Bud doesn't really have much of a choice outside of putting like you're down one clutch player in the last 5 to 7 minutes of the game, and you're kind of relying on Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton, and Wes. Like I don't feel comfortable having Wes Matthews play 34 minutes in a
Yeah.
game like this. So Bobby Portis really did nothing. I can't remember when the elbow happened and if that was the reason he only played 6 minutes, but I don't know if you saw Tristan Thompson is basketball relevant again on Twitter, and it's because he just basically broke Bobby Portis's eye socket.
Oh wow, no, I did not see that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
he elbowed him, and he elbowed him there's this whole like this was a no call by the refs, and it's just him elbowing Bobby Portis, and Bobby's eyes like all bloody.
oh jeez, oof,
So
that's pretty
maybe that's
nasty.
the reason why he played 6 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, I would assume so. I would assume that's probably a problem that it's pretty hard to play with. Giannis says, yeah, he left after that and never came back to the bench. So we're assuming that that's the case. How long do you think you guys are without Middleton? Because sprained MCL, I forget the other injury as well, but it's not the best injury to have if you want him back for this series.
I don't know, and I all I know is that there's not a tear, and I don't think we've heard anything else since then. So I can't put a timetable on it, but when I googled how long it takes to come back from a sprained MCL, it said a normal person comes back 6 weeks. So
Oh,
who knows? I'm
yeah,
gonna say he's definitely not gonna play until the finals if I were to guess.
yeah. So they're going to do an MRI today to give a clearer situation of what it is because they know it's a MCL sprain, but I don't know. Maybe there'll be some good news there. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see on the Middleton thing. But a big blow, and now you head back to Chicago. How are you feeling as a Bucks fan today?
Well, last night was deflating for sure. I still think that will be fine enough to make it through this series. It's just would have rather had it be 5 games than seven because it feels like it could get to the 6 or 7 range now.
Yeah, it definitely does feel like it could get to that 6 or 7 range. I still have confidence that you guys end up winning this one, but it's definitely going to be a little bit closer, in my opinion. All right, anything else with or actually, let's talk about a few things. Luca, feeling good to come back, should be back for game three, or could potentially be back for game three, which is very big news for this Mavericks team. Still targeting game four for Ben Simmons. We're gonna wait and see on that, but that's really interesting news that he's still out there and targeting that timeline. And we also know that Devin Booker is at least out for the first round. That's big news, man. Let's talk about each one of these three series. Let's start off with the Mavericks and the Jazz one. If Luca is back for Game Three, and he is fully healthy because he came out here and said that he will not risk his career or will not risk anything if he thinks the injury will get worse by playing. And so if he is fully healthy and ready to come out here for game three, how much of a difference maker is that for the Mavs?
Well, it's basically all the confidence they need, and they need a lot heading into Utah here. And it's going to be a tough 2 games. I still think personally they should wait one more. I wouldn't be surprised if Luca did not play tonight. I think rushing it back is the worst thing that you could do. And I mean, let's see how this game goes um, in Utah, and then we can make that decision. I don't know. I would take that approach, but he obviously changes the series if he plays. I think
Yeah,
Utah doesn't really have much of a chance if he does.
yeah, I would tend to agree with that take. This they definitely don't have much of a chance if Luca is playing, and I think could see a gentleman sweep with Luca on the floor. So I'm excited to see what happens there. Let's talk about Ben Simmons. We know that this Nets team is now down 2-0. They head to their home court where they have been awful this year against the spread. Do we think that when Ben Simmons returns for this game four, it could be 3-0?
Potentially, yeah. I do think that the Nets are in serious trouble now, and it's not like they're gonna have. I don't think they have much a home field advantage here or home court advantage. I do think that Boston fans should travel for this one, and we'll see how that actually portrays. Let's see if Kyrie Irving bounces back. I mean, maybe I don't really know what to say about his performance last night, but Durant has not had a big game yet, and that's saying a lot. And I guess that just proves that Boston's defense is one of the best in the league. I was very bullish on Durant to bounce back last night, and he just didn't really come through in the second half. So, good first half for that team, but they weren't able to close out at the end of the day. So I think that Boston potentially, I mean, Simmons is not going to be enough to save this team from being swept, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would tend to agree that it's it's tough, but we'll have to see. I'm hoping that this Nets team can push it to 7 because I think this is just an epic 7 game series. Every one of these games have been phenomenal, so I'd love to see more of that. And then lastly, Devin Booker being out for the first round. We saw that when Devin Booker was out, that Pelicans team was able to take over. Does this potentially look like a 1-8 upset for the Suns, or do you think that they can still pull through without Devin Booker?
I think that the Suns will be just fine. I think that last night was the only night that they'll get, or the 2 nights ago was the only win the Pelicans will have. Technically, the report did say he's out at least 2 games, but I think that the series is over, so that's why I said first round.
Yeah, indefinitely is the thing that I'm seeing. So, I mean, when you say someone's out indefinitely, it's most likely not a good sign, and is something that you need to worry about a little bit. So, should be interesting. I think that I don't know. I disagree with you a little bit. I think that at the end of the day, you could see this be a much tougher series for this Suns team. I think the Pelicans are here. I think the Pelicans are they're pumped up. What a great way to win Game 2, and now you come back into New Orleans, into the Smoothie Center, and I feel like you're gonna see a hyped up crowd there for sure. So should be interesting. Should be a lot of fun to watch. I'm excited for that series even more now. But hope Devin Booker comes back healthy soon because you know how important of a factor he is to that team. All right. Anything else NBA related, Jared? And if not, let's talk about a very boring night of MLB.
Yeah, I'll just call my shots tonight. Actually, we don't even have this game today.
What
No, they
games
don't play
do we
till
have?
tomorrow.
Games do we have?
They don't. The Suns don't play till tomorrow. I was gonna say Suns by 10, so I'll just say that tomorrow morning.
Ooh, okay. Suns by 10. I like it. Yeah, yeah. Just save it for tomorrow. We'll pretend no one heard it. Grizzlies were Timberwolves, Mavericks, Jazz, Warriors, Nuggets today. Uh, this should. I'm excited for this Grizzlies and Timberwolves game, just like I'm always excited for the Grizzlies and Timberwolves. But I don't know. In Minnesota this time, it should be a fun, exciting one.
I don't really have a lean on Timberwolves Grizzlies right now. I'm not gonna. I would rather just watch it and see how it plays out because I think either side is very shaky. The Wolves could just not show up in the spot, and the Grizzlies could just impose their will. So we'll see how it goes. Again, like we're a technical away from this series flipping one way or the other.
Yep. I definitely agree. I 100% agree with that take. All right, let's talk about the MLB, everything that happened here in the MLB. A very boring night of baseball. Not a lot of high scores. One of the highest scores we had was the Rays and the Cubs, which got delayed in the 6th inning, but was 8-2 in that one. Just kind of a boring night around the league. I guess the most impressive thing was the Giants getting a big win behind Carlos Rendon's 5 innings of pretty good stuff. I mean, Carlos Rendon looked really good out there. Chris Bassett kind of exposed a little bit. What do you make of this Giants and Mets game?
Yeah, definitely solid series between the two. We get the last game between them today, this afternoon. Leads off the early slate here. Uh, I've been intrigued to see how that series has been going for a while. And the Mets, uh, we'll talk about power rankings because those Mets and Giants are both in the top three. So, with that being said, I do think that it's it takes a lot to come into a place like New York, and New York's rotation's been looking really good outside of what happened yesterday. So they've been doing very well. And I know they just played the Diamondbacks before that, so you're not seeing too many runs from them. But it's been nice to see, and finally, believe Carlos Carrasco takes the mound today. So we'll see if that is enough to get them over the hump against the Giants. You don't really realize. I think we all just forget how deep the Mets starting rotation is, even with Degrom out.
Yeah.
And I think that that's going to be something to look forward to, and see if they actually can survive more than just 2 months of baseball. Because while they do have an awesome pitching staff, everybody but Bassett's majorly injury prone. So we'll
Yep.
see if they can make it through that. But it's kind of a boring night, like you said. I believe I don't have the exact number, but I remember Anthony telling us some at some point through the night that there was only like 5 home runs hit in like 5 hours or something like that, which was it's crazy. A lot of small ball yesterday. The one thing that did surprise me was there's a few things. The one thing was the Shohei Ohtani. He basically had like one hit through 6 innings when he was pitching yesterday.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you saw this, but Nico Goodrum got booed by his own fans for trying to bunt the no hitter out
Yeah,
against Shohei yesterday, which was kind of funny to see. But the Red Sox disappointed again. The Twins Royals game disappointed majorly, and I didn't have any of the Yankees that did anything. But the only Yankee that did anything against the left-handed pitcher was Rizzo, which
yeah.
is mind blowing to me.
Yeah, just completely shocking there. I feel you, man. I fucking, we loaded up on this Fenway spot thinking that it was a really good chance to blow up, and 6-1 is not what I had in mind. And the funny thing is that like it looked like we were getting to a spot where it was going to be fireworks on both sides. Like we saw 5 runs by the Blue Jays in the second inning. We saw this Red Sox team get to Jose Barrios early on, and then
Hmm.
just nothing, just all evaporated for the last like 7 innings, and nothing happened. So a little bit of an infuriating night. I mean, the big news out of this Red Sox and Jays game is the fact that George Springer out with injury, or was out in this game with an injury, and then we saw JD Martinez go down with hamstring tightness as well. So some
Yep.
injuries that we are dealing with in the MLB last night that were, it should be interesting to see how those develop.
Yeah, I saw the Red Sox lineup come out this morning. Story also got hit by a pitch yesterday. He's in the lineup today. No JD Martinez, no Kike Hernandez. So a little bit of a lower, not as good lineup for this Red Sox team heading into the final day against Kevin Gausman. So we'll talk about that game on the member only podcast that starts here in about 20 minutes. But I do also want to rant and rave about two things. One, want to praise my uh, Jordan Lyles call yesterday, getting the 1-0 win over the
Yeah,
Athletics in the sixth inning. I think he gave up like one hit. Let's say see the actual thing. Yeah, no, sorry, 5 hits, 5 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts. Pretty good for 6K Jordan Lyles. I'm actually
yeah,
kind of pissed I didn't go there, but the reason I'm more pissed is because Sandy Alcantara threw a gem, and then his team gave it up in late in the game. They gave up 2 runs to the Cardinals in the ninth inning. The one inning he didn't pitch in the entire game.
yeah. A little bit of a tilter for sure. The fact that his team gave it up there, but I mean, like you said, Sandy had a game, Lyles had a game. It was a very interesting night of baseball. I will just say that. All right, Jared, let's do our underdog, our dog days of spring. Let's get our underdog fantasy sports play out of the way here. I don't know how we did yesterday. I what you took? Well, we already because Kevin, you had Kevin Durant over 29, right?
Yep, he
Yeah,
scored 5 points in the fourth quarter
yeah. You
to
hate
fall short by two.
tough day, and I don't remember what my over under was for pitches. Um, yeah, it was 83 pitches for somebody, but I honestly forget who it is. So it's mute anyway because of your side not coming through. But what do we got today, Jared? What are you liking on the board?
Let's see. I think I'm gonna stick with my takes here. Did they not have him? They don't have him yet. We have no Jordan Poole yet.
Oh no.
Damn. That would have been my guy, but I'll take Luis Robert 1.5 total bases over against Zach Plesac.
Nice. I like it. I like it a lot. I will take. Hold on one second. I just want to see one thing. Um, Interesting. Yeah, we'll go here. I'm gonna go the over with Joe Ryan's pitch count. It's at 85.5. Feels a little bit inflated. I bet this came in at a very low, few lower pitches earlier on in the day, but I like the Joe Ryan play today. Give me 85.5 there for him. All right, Jared, let's get out of here. We have a member only show to do. We're back live here in about 2 hours for 30 to lock, and then we have an early day of baseball, which should be a lot of fun.
Yes, sir. Just clarifying, you took the over of Joe Ryan's pitch count,
Correct.
85.5. All right. Yeah, I like that. I actually like the spot. We'll talk about it here in like 20 minutes because that's an interesting game to talk about.
Yeah, it certainly is an interesting game to talk about, and I am excited to talk about it. But let's get out of here, Jared. Any final thoughts for the people?
Not too much. Got another crazy night in NBA. Hopefully, that's kind of lives up to the hype that the last couple days have been. And we'll make sure to get out an announcement here in the Roto Radar Discord for what the rest of the day looks like. It's a jam-packed morning. This Thursday and next Thursday will both be crazy baseball schedules, but we'll make sure to get all the content your guys' way here soon. We'll be back on Twitch in literally like an hour and a half.
Yep. Yes, we will. All right, let's get out of here, Jared. As always, my name is Joshua Reimer. Good night and good skill.